Hello everybody, welcome back to the internet's best reactions. Today we are discussing, deliberating the Mexican Grand Prix. The tension was building. We thought the last 10 or 15 laps was going to be absolutely scintillating with the strategy, everything going on. We thought they were all just going to come together and there was going to be lots of racing. But that's just us as F1 fans, isn't it? We never get it right, but what you do get right are your submissions. Let's get into the hashtag WTF1 moments. So lap one was pretty interesting, wasn't it? Going down to turn one, you had Hamilton being slightly pushed onto the grass by Vettel, which then lost his momentum a little bit going into turn one, and Verstappen had absolutely all the ideas of going up the inside at Jeffrey Nedeloff. Hamilton and Verstappen at the start, and both of them went off. It was quite weird to see, and in the press conference afterwards as well, there was a little bit of what should we say? Not insulting, but some interesting words coming out of both Hamilton and Vettel, saying that they need to kind of, well, Vettel just said copy and paste to what Hamilton said, but it was basically saying they have to give him a bit more room and kind of insinuating that Verstappen's a bit of a madman on the track, which we kind of know. I mean, Madman Max and all that stuff, but I don't know. For that particular incident, I don't think there was much really wrong with what Max did. It was just hard racing, and both of them had swappers. And coming out of lap one was a man, not Max Verstappen, the teammate, Alex Albon at Carl72465. What a fantastic gift that is. Albon was up in P3. I was so excited. I was like, come on, Alex, you can do it. Get your first podium. But unfortunately, he went onto a two-stop strategy, which turned out to be the inferior strategy by quite some margin, I think, in the end. But I was so hopeful. I was like, come on, Alex, you can do it. He's such a nice guy. He deserves a podium. And to be fair, I was reading that he's nearly, I think, 19 points. He scored more than Max by 19 points since joining Red Bull, which obviously I know Max has had a few very terrible races, but Alex isn't doing too bad. So Max Verstappen was very angry, wasn't he? After qualifying, losing 3 positions after being a little bit too confident in the press conference, which then got him in trouble with the stewards. Then he had the incident with Hamilton, which dropped him even further back. And then he tried to dive up the inside of Valtteri Bottas into the hairpin where the big sort of grandstand, baseball arena type seats are. And, well, it was a good move, to be fair. It was a very aggressive one, as we know from Max. But then Bottas just clipped his right rear tyre when Max maybe went in just slightly too hot, pushed the car wide, got the clip, got the puncture, and that screwed him over. At Bryce Salt's Verstappen's tyre after the puncture. Martin Brundle loves to say that, you know, a driver's very lucky if the carcass comes off, but I don't think he was particularly fortunate, considering it was an entire lap that he had to do without a rear tyre. So Max very much struggling, and it was sad to see that his weekend kind of just fall from getting pole position to then being almost a lap down. I think he was. He finished 6th in the end, so it was a decent recovery drive, but yeah, a weekend to forget for Max. Gotta love the Mexican Grand Prix when Sergio Perez races around it. At F1 Memery, Perez breathes every single fan at the track. It's awesome to hear the atmosphere. I guess it's similar to, I don't know, America maybe sometimes, but then there isn't an American driver. But I can imagine it's probably similar if there was one. But in Mexico, you know, they are so loyal and so devoted to supporting Sergio Perez that it's absolutely awesome to see when he dives up the inside at turn one, takes the position, and then Crofty didn't even have to commentate. You could just hear the audience. It was awesome. We spoke about Max's poor race. Another person that had a very unfortunate race and has had quite an unfortunate season is the milkman Lando Norris. At High Five Forever, is that right? It is High Five Forever. Lando, this race so far. Yeah, I don't know what this guy has done in a previous life to get so much bad luck this season, but it continues. His what was it, front right didn't go on properly, even though just for a split second the green light flashed up for him to go, went straight back to red, but that's all the driver needs. Give him that green light, he will go. And unfortunately that ruined his race completely, and then he retired. Poor Lando. This race was all about strategy, as we know. There was 2 stops, there was 1 stops, there was prolonged 2 stops, there was prolonged 1 stops, there was everything going on. And Leclerc continues on, I think a lap after Albon, he's just continuing on, and then Ferrari decide to pit him onto a 2-stop strategy. They don't even bother putting on the hards, they're just like, right, you're going straight onto another set of mediums, which I think was a mistake, but then again, maybe they were trying to push another set of mediums so they could go on softs, but they didn't work either. Either way, not good. At Cybermax2103, when Ferrari is thinking about a new strategy. Yeah, Vettel's one was okay because they prolonged his stint for quite some time, but yeah, just losing the track position to Hamilton just proved costly. So, to be fair, I don't actually know how Lewis managed to survive that many laps on those hard tyres, but then you had Danny Rick, who did exactly the same thing. So clearly it was possible, but they didn't see that from practice. Now, I can't remember exactly where in the race this happened, but I think we were focusing on Vettel, Hamilton, those guys coming through the back markers, and then we saw George Russell and Robert Kubica absolutely at it. Side by side, fighting like their lives depended on it, and I loved every second. And this GIF just never gets old for me. I genuinely lolled, even though I've seen this probably 5-10 times. It just makes me laugh every single time. There's no offence to Williams, I apologise. At Ziggy_YT. Williams battle. Oh, God, it's so simple yet effective. At Dave McKeegan. Mercedes strategist after Hamilton spends half the race complaining. Yeah, I don't know, I must say, I think Hamilton's personality, he just needs to vent. If he thinks something isn't right, which I think he doesn't, most of the time when he complains, I don't think he's genuinely like acting up and being like, oh yeah, these tyres are gone. He's not, I don't think he's like that at all, but I think he just needs to have that venting to be able to then just get on with the race. Like, you've messed up, but I'm gonna make something happen, yeah? Although he's nice at covering it off, isn't he? Because if it doesn't work out, it's the strategist's fault. If it does work out, he's a genius. So, win-win. We mentioned Perez and the Mexican crowd losing the plot every time he breathed or drove or whatever. Another interesting battle with him was with Ricardo at I Am That Guy Media, live renacement. Don't think that's reenactment, but interesting spelling. Of Ricardo's dive bomb in Perez. Not of. Clearly, this man's not a native English speaker, but I love a typo, as you know. But yeah, Ricardo, he just doesn't seem confident on the brakes, does he, in that Renault? He just cannot get that car slowed down when he goes for an absolute dive bomb. And that's with the, when he had that cheeky little brake bias thing, you know, that cheating Renault thing. Naughty. But at Red Bull, he didn't seem to ever really lock up when he went for big balls moves. But in the Renault, he doesn't seem to be able to get used to the brakes. Maybe they're just not as good. I want to see Danny Rick up there again, man. I want to see him making those dive bombs work. Right at the end of the race, Renault have had an absolutely awesome race. 8th and 9th, I think they were running. And Nico Hülkenberg just minding his own business. And Daniel Kvyat just comes out of nowhere and blows him up into the wall with literally one corner to go. At Axel Gedder, absolutely no one, Kvyat in the last corner. It was an interesting move, let's put it that way. I know Nico's left a slight gap, but that is not an overtaking move because there's just no speed in that area at all. It's single file. You should know that unless you're Max Verstappen, then you get a puncture. But yeah, that was a little bit audacious, let's call it that. Other talking points was the F1 podium itself. How good was that? I absolutely loved it. At Moros, Vettel at the podium, when there was the Mexican Stig just up there with his GoPro flipping selfie stick thing, trying to dance and celebrate with the drivers. That I found that cringe, I'm not going to lie. I was just like, oh no, stop please. The drivers are not interested in communicating or integrating with you at all. Please leave them alone. And then Vettel was just like, mate, sorry, just please get off, just go away. Like, know your place. And I have to agree, Vettel, it was in a polite way though, it was just, get off me, scumbag. It wasn't anything too extreme, but it was enough of a message. At D. Guarenti, Lewis Hamilton podium, be like. Yeah, I wondered where Lewis was. I was like, oh, is he just delayed? Is he not coming out? Is he talking to someone? And then he arose from the ground. Let me try it. Okay. Ow! Ow! Okay, no, let's move on. Okay, now we're moving on to the top 5 F1 moments throughout the entire internet. Let's start with Mr. Arav, one of my friends. Not biased, just passionate. _Arava, that race. And I think that sums it up beautifully, actually, the graph, because we're like, ooh, lap 1, nice. And then it's kind of just what do you call it? You know, when you're kind of just boiling the, just putting it to the boil, you know, when you're boiling some pasta, just like that, it's just lovely. Yeah, cool. Really good description. But then you can see at the end, it goes up a bit. That's about 10 laps to go. We're thinking, hello, good morning, let's go have some action, and then it just plummets. Thanks, Mexico. I don't know why I'm blaming Mexico. It's the race, the strategy. It was good though, but also a bit anticlimactic. Okay, this one made me laugh quite a lot. This was on Reddit. Turns and straights. Oh God, genuinely nearly swallowed my own tongue. McLaren pit crew. Okay, you get it. You get it. If you don't get this, then you're either really young or not with it. Get it. Got it. Good. This one was also from Reddit, Dynamo458. The loudest sounds on earth. Yeah, well, we've spoken about it. Perez just makes the crowd go wild. Now, I think this is actually the first time I've ever included something that isn't in English, but I get it. I understand it. Well, I think I understand it. I haven't actually translated this, but I feel like I'm right. This is Dominaire à la Leclerc. No reason why, just because they have Leclerc in the name. Ferrari and Qualifica, which I believe is qualification or qualifying. And then Ferrari and Gara, which I imagine is the race. If it's not, and this is actually really offensive, I'm sorry. And the final top 5 F1 post comes from OM Grand Prix _F1 memes on Instagram. I would change this a slight bit. I think laps 2 to sort of 60 we were going hello. I don't know why lap 69 we were losing the plot, but I like the format. A little bit of work to do I think next time, but I get it. This was basically us in some ways. Social Media Team Championship time now. Let's dive straight in to the Sport Pacer Racing Point Formula 1 Team Championship because no one else seems to win it these days, so please put more effort in F1 teams. Let's see who comes in the top 3 positions. In 3rd place, Rocket Williams Racing. Now, I don't know when I last said this, but I liked the video, so it gets a point. We just bumped into some pretty passionate Racing Point F1 fans outside our garage. Even though Williams are getting the point, there's still some sort of Racing Point reference. They are the meme team, and I love it. Williams, good job. I like it. In 2nd place, we have Aston Martin Red Bull Racing. Spy, yep, thanks Max. Did not need to know that. I like it. It's an undercover joke. And also very, very childish and immature, and I love it. And finally, the winners of the Social Media Team Championship for the Mexican Grand Prix are Sport Pacer Racing Formula 1 team. Sit rep. People are doing things. Other people are doing different things. Those opting to do those things might have a chance of clinging on against those doing the first thing, unless the ones doing that thing have made the right call by not doing the other thing. See, that makes no sense, but it makes perfect sense. Do you know what I mean? Strategy, I think, maybe. I got it. Deciphered it. That's 1 point for Rocket Williams Racing, 2 points for Aston Martin Red Bull Racing, and 3 points for the champions this year, Sport Pacer Racing Point 1 team.
And now it's time for Race Rundown with your host, Matthew Gallagher.
Yes! Here we go! Race rundown time. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's do this. I've got my graphic back, even though not having the graphic last time actually worked out an absolute treat, didn't it? Right, the race finishes for the Mexican Grand Prix were... I knew as soon as that word came out, none of it was coming out. Hamilton, Vettel, Bottas, Leclerc, Albon, Verstappen, Perez, Ricciardo. Hamilton, Vettel, Bottas, Leclerc, Albon, Verstappen. Hamilton, Vettel, Bottas, Leclerc, Albon, Verstappen, Perez, Ricciardo. I don't know why I do this. Why do I do this all the time? I'm not conducting an orchestra. What am I doing? Hamilton, Vettel, Bottas, Leclerc, Albon, Perez, Hamilton, Vettel, Bottas, Leclerc, Albon, Verstappen, Perez, Ricciardo, Gasly, Hülkenberg, Kvyat, Stroll, Sainz, Giovinazzi, Magnussen, Russell, Grosjean, Kubica. Right, and finally the retirements were Raikkonen, Norris. Raikkonen, Norris. Norris, Raikkonen. Right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching the internet's best reactions to the Mexican Grand Prix. If you did enjoy the episode, give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comment section below what you'd like to see moving forward with this series. Is there anything in particular that you'd like to see? Constructive feedback, and also nice things. If you want to say some nice things as well, please do. If you want to get involved next time, use the hashtag WTF1 on social media, and we will choose the very best ones to be featured next time out, which is It's Race Week Already. It's Race Week Already. Austin, America, COTA, USA, any other abbreviations, please let me know in the comment section below as well. That's it. See you next time in America. Well, not in America, but here in 5 days, 6 days, something like that. Okay. All right. See you in a bit. Bye. Oh my God, I could do like a disappearing trick. Ow, my knee.